Hello everybody, welcome back to 40 Days with Dietrich. Today's passage is taken from Bonhoeffer's book, Life Together. The title given to this excerpt is God's Image. Bonhoeffer writes, God does not want me to model others into the image that seems good to me, that is, into my own image. Instead, in their freedom from me, God made other people in God's own image. I can never know in advance how God's image should appear in others. That image always takes on a completely new and unique form, whose origin is found solely in God's free and sovereign act of creation. To me, that form may seem strange, even ungodly. But God creates every person in the image of God's Son, the crucified. And this image, likewise, certainly looked strange and ungodly to me before I grasped it. Strong and weak, wise or foolish, talented or untalented, pious or less pious, the complete diversity of individuals in the community is no longer a reason to talk and judge and condemn, and therefore no longer a pretext for self-justification. Rather, this diversity is a reason for rejoicing in one another and serving one another. So I love Life Together. I've read it a number of times, and it's a book that I go to again and again and again, and I think it just has some wonderfully profound things to say about the Christian community. And how the Christian community should be understood and formed. And this is one of the fundamental things that Bonhoeffer talks about when he talks about the community of faith, that the community of faith can't be just this wishful creation of everybody who is like me. For one, that's never going to happen. That's just not going to come. So he calls it a wish dream. But fundamentally, what it also is idolatry, right? We are kind of praising ourselves, and we're wishing others to be exactly like us. And therefore, we are not actually wanting others to uncover the image of God within them. We're wanting them to uncover the image of us. And this is kind of what Bonhoeffer's talking about here. God doesn't want us to model others into our own image. God wants us to model others into the image of God, or to recognize others in the image of God. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that we need to be anything other than we are, right? We are made in the image of God, and so there is an acceptance of our uniqueness. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, as it says in Psalm 139. And so we have to own that. But we also have to turn that around and say that the other person within the Christian community is also fearfully and wonderfully made, and is somebody who was crafted in the image, as Bonhoeffer says, of God's Son, the crucified. The Christian community is one which will always be messy, because there's always going to be people in the Christian community that says, I can't believe they're here. And we look across the aisle, we look across the pew, and my wife calls them sandpaper people who just kind of just rub us a little too harshly or just rub us the wrong way, and that's always going to be the case. But of course, as Bonhoeffer constantly does often, is he kind of does turn this around and say, but we also need to recognize that we are that person to other people. So if ever we are in a place where we say, I can't believe they go to church, or I can't believe that they see themselves as Christian, we have to recognize that there is somebody who says that to us, who says, I can't believe that they are in church or that they see themselves as Christian. Because the diversity of people within the Christian community does not negate Christian community. It actually is one of its fundamental cores. It is this diversity that Bonhoeffer says, which is a reason for rejoicing in one another and serving one another. because it is their particularity, their difference from me, that lends itself to my own faith, furthering my own faith, challenging me in places that I need to be challenged, supporting me in places where I need to be supported. And it's my uniqueness, and it's my diversity, and it's my particularity of who I am, the idiosyncrasies of who I am, that helps them in their faith. That is a challenge to them in where they need to be challenged, which is a support for them where they need to be supported. And so, Bonhoeffer wants to say, within the community of faith, there's strong and weak, wise and foolish, talented or untalented, pious or less pious, and complete diversity of individuals in the community, which is a place of rejoicing. So God bless you as you journey through your season of Lent, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.